Hello Internet, this is Clinton Manning, and you're watching Tales by Firelight. In the 1970s, my mom went on a religious mission in the southern part of Brazil, where she would visit this lady that was deaf in one ear. One night, they were having a horrible night because it was raining so much. It was raining and it was cold. It was like the rain was coming in sideways. And they had some appointments, but everything had fallen through. And it got to the point where they were just stuck. They were like in the middle of the street. They were cold, they were wet, and they were really hungry. So they stopped and they had a dilemma. You know, they weren't sure what they should do next. And as a coincidence, right in front of them was the house of this nice old lady. And we'll call her Martha for now. Okay? A warm glowing light turned on in the home, and the window opened, and there was Martha's smiling face saying, "Hey, come on in, get out of the cold." So they looked at each other and made a silent decision together and started walking to the home. As soon as they got into the house, the house was completely warm. There was a really nice smell of chicken noodle soup on the stove, and she quickly wrapped them with blankets. There was candles all over the place, giving that nice, warm, flickering glow. So they sat down in her kitchen and they enjoyed a warm bowl of soup together. So Martha started talking about her day, and she could just talk forever. Talking. And my mom was looking around the room. She was looking at her china and looking at the pictures on the wall. And, you know, they were sitting together around this small little wooden table with these, you know, large bowls of soup. And then she noticed that Martha would always tilt her head as she talked. So my mom asked her, "So what happened? How come you're deaf in your left ear?" And Martha replied, "Oh, that's a story for another time. You don't want to hear about that." And my mom was surprised that she just brushed her off. So she said again, "No, tell me. What happened? You know, were you born like this?" And Martha's like, "Okay, I'll tell you. But don't ask me again, okay? When she was a child, you know, in her teens, maybe 15, 16 years old, she would help her family by baking bread. And she would wake up really early and bake like 3 or 4 basketfuls of bread. And she would go and sell it in the town. And her last stop was a local church that had an orphanage. And so she had to wake up really early, and she would bake all this bread, and then she would get her sisters ready. She had a little sister that was like 6, another one that was like 11. And they would rush all through town, you know, in the afternoon once the bread was done to deliver the bread. So every day they had to pass a cemetery. It wasn't an ugly, creepy cemetery. It was a beautiful little cemetery. It had a white picket fence. It had beautiful trees, lots of shade. It had, you know, ivy growing on some of the tombstones with little white flowers. I mean, it was a peaceful place, a place of rest, right? And so they were walking past the cemetery, and they could see the church already, you know, maybe 300 feet ahead, when they noticed a woman walking towards them. And this woman was wearing a beautiful white gown and a nice, pretty hat. So as they rushed to make their final delivery, in one hand she had the bread basket, and in the other hand she was dragging her little sisters, you know, going as fast as she could to make her final delivery. She began to hear singing, and it was beautiful singing. It was some of the most beautiful singing she had ever heard. And the closer she got to the woman, as they were beginning to intersect, the singing just became more lovely. And it even kind of calmed her spirits, and she kind of walked a little bit slower and was kind of enjoying the day a little bit more. But then the closer she got to this woman, the louder the singing got. And it got louder and louder and louder until finally it was starting to hurt her ear. And that calm tranquility that she was feeling had disappeared and started to turn into fear. She did not understand how someone could sing so loudly. And she was looking at her sisters, and her sisters were getting worried. So she rushed along and kind of moved over to the side to allow this mystery woman to pass. And the singing got louder and louder. And then as they finally passed each other, the singing right in her ear was so loud that she lost her hearing. You know, as soon as that happened, she started feeling all this pain. She looked down at her little sisters, and they were overwhelmed with what was going on. The sound was just too bright. Their faces were pale, and she just sees, just kind of glances as this woman continues, just passes by. The singing is still going, so she begins to run. She doesn't know what to do, and she panics. And as she runs, trying to drag her little sister, the singing stops, and she looks back, and she's still hearing the ringing, right? And she looks back, and she just sees, she sees nothing. The lady disappeared. And that is how she lost her hearing. She hasn't heard anything since. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching Tales by Firelight. All of you that have a sense of wonder and a love for life's little mysteries, these videos are for you. So please comment and let me know what you think. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next tale. Goodbye for now.